you please go back to the Rolling 7 comment, because it could be the comment of the actual podcast. How many Gary Sharon Halen tribute bands are there? Just wondering if you play anything from that era.
Ask Al.
Is that crickets? What's going on?
That's me doing that.
That's how many Gary Sharon Halen.
Well, interestingly enough, right now there is one with Gary Sharon in it. Apparently they're going to be doing a whole Van Halen something.
We got the soundbite already. It's too late, Caleb. We got the soundbite already. That's one everywhere. But honestly,
out, relax. You know why? Because they saw us and it's fun.
Sharon's in an amazing band. His amazing band was Extreme, so God bless them.
Yes,
and they have their own version of Eddie Van Halen. So it's like, the great guitar player, great vocalist. Let them go do their thing.
I thought they were.
Hey, Jolie.
I thought Nuno Battencourt was going to hate me at one point because I was on I Love the '90s.
Hal on playing in the background. He's on that podcast. I don't know if you're watching it or not.
Everybody plays an 8th grade dance and weddings and blah blah blah. And I went, you guys do realize this is a shut up and blow me song, right? This
eat my
is not
breakfast
romantic at all.
I'm gonna eat breakfast.
That was basically my joke. And they kept
then I'm gonna take off, and I got this.
And they cut back to me going, just reach out.
I taped down
he's asking for a handy, and so that's my joke, and I also believe it. That's absolutely true. That is true of the song.
It's on YouTube.
So I'm doing stand-up. I'm on the road. I get on my flight, and I'm Southwest, getting my kind of last
Ryan Roxy Official.
Wednesday, and sure enough,
is the YouTube
channel. The load-in boarding crowd that I walk past. There's Nuno Battencourt, and I guess his guitar.
I don't know if I could do a link.
He still finds out nothing.
Yeah, well, you save that money. It's better places to save it. I'm just saying. You can use it when you get in.
It's Ryan Roxy.
So you spend $1,000 in the air. You can spend $1,000 in the brand new.
And him and
believe me,
Hal and Caleb from Nerd Halen are on.
So, anyways,
that's why he's not
stands up and he goes
on his show. You got it? Okay.
You are the first person to get it.
So I thought.
And what? And he goes,
I got a cheese omelet here from Denny's. I'm going to eat that.
That you're the only person who got the joke. You're the only person. And I'm like,
take off.
You're welcome. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, Mr. Webb.
He's known me as that guy ever since. He's like, I'm the guy who called out more than words as a Shut Up and Blow Me anthem. And I'm very proud of that fact.
We're listening to Hal on
a really good point, because obviously
he's on the Ryan Roxy podcast right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, as Twisted Sister records go that never got released, I think it's my favorite.
Him and Caleb are on there.
Let's put it this way: "Shut Up and Blow Me," great song title. Are there any plans for any original music ever from Nerd Halen? Because if there are, maybe that's a song title just to throw it in the hat. But like bands do, as we've seen, obviously with Steel Panther has made this shift, and they started at the Viper Room, my friends, back in the day. I honestly, the opening night for I think it was called Corvette, maybe Corvette Summer, or maybe that's a movie that Hal was in before. But
Mark Hamill, that's the one who wrecked his car and busted his face and needed surgery, and that's why they had to delay filming on Empire.
Well, it kind of inspired me to get a Corvette. That's where the story for me was.
And add the snow beast scene where he gets.
That's right. Yeah, to explain why his face was all messed up.
Trying to talk about what happened to. Why the hell is there Chewbacca in the story in the mix right now?
You brought him up.
You can't see anything that you're doing because you're only on a portrait screen. But the thing is, I saw the evolution of Corvette, which turned into Metal School, which turned into this, which eventually turned into Steel Panther. I was in a band exactly that same night that they were playing the Viper Room. I was playing down at the gig on Melrose in a little 70s tribute band called Glam Nation. I don't know if you kids are a little bit too young for that sort of flavor that we did down at the gig on Melrose. But Glam Nation and Steel Panther sort of kicked off on the same night. But their sort of evolution eventually with original music. Does Nerd Halen have any plans for original music coming in the future?
Technically, by the way, Steel Panther was Metal Shop, then Metal School, They lost both those names to each management team that they brought on. For some reason, they signed away their name to whoever was managing them, which is insane. So they lost that name, and then they eventually had to come up with Steel Panther because they needed an abstract they could do originals under that didn't, borrow from the metal school, metal shop idea. And my band, 01, my own personal band, my Jit Tunes, I opened for Metal Shop at the Viper Room, my band's first gig ever. So we have similar timelines in there. I'm sure we crossed paths accidentally, and I want to apologize in advance for anything I did in the past.
You made me feel like the most important person in the bedroom.
Well, that's because you were, quite frankly, and I appreciate you for tagging me out when I was exhausted. I realized you were waiting there for a full 3 hours, but eventually you got your time at bat, and you did great. So I read. Anyways,
Al, shut up and blow me.
So, that's right. Thank you. That's the album. So, insofar as this is Caleb, tell them about Nerdy Woman.
Oh, well, Nerdy Woman came in a rehearsal, which by the way, we don't rehearse. We just get together about 2 hours before we load in house.
What do you want to do?
Pool garage studio, and we just run through the songs. And we've had more gigs than we've had rehearsals, and that is a fact.
It's not saying a lot.
This band never rehearses. Hal lives in Vegas, and we live.
Tell them about Nerdy Woman.
Okay, well, Nerdy Woman came because Pretty Woman just seemed out of our reach, and it sounds so similar, Nerdy Woman, and it seemed like the perfect thing to do. So we started doing just Nerdy Woman with the regular lyrics, and then we thought, why don't we record this song and write a whole bunch of new lyrics, and you can actually get the song.
Is that how it happened?
Oh, what?
Let's hear the real version, Hal.
Yeah, tell the real version. By the way, it is available on all streaming network.
There you go. Yeah, the important thing is the result. The sausage making is not important.
Thank you so much, James.
But yes, at one point I was like,
thanks for the
I like
thumbs up.
the idea that we're doing Nerdy
I'm kind of
as the chorus, but we need.
I'm sitting in the back. I'm eating my breakfast right now. But in the meantime,
if we're gonna do that, we
can enjoy listening to Hal and Caleb.
Yes.
That's right. You can't needle the fans like that. You can't lead them into
on
thinking
the Ryan Roxy podcast.
So,
hey there, Mr. Webb.
What I did was like, I'll write.
Thanks for being here.
That,
I'm back here in the back right now,
and eventually
eating my breakfast.
I managed to crowbar some Klingon in there, and I'm very proud of that fact. And we are definitely, for the record, the only Van Halen cover band that sings any.
This is live,
Klingon,
I believe.
I think I could say that without questioning.
It's pretty nerdy.
I mean, I know I'm live, but I'm pretty sure
yeah,
Hal's on live right now, right?
And by the way, while doing a Christopher Lloyd impersonation as I sing them, but that's for the deep reads for Wrath of Khan fans. So that said, I like that was sort of the start of this, and Caleb has always had this idea that we do some what if songs, where we do some covers of songs. What if Van Halen did this song? What if Van Halen did that song? And there's some like YouTubers who do that as kind of a thing. So it's not that outside the realm of reality, but there are a few songs that'd be nice to do, and that go along with the kind of Van Halen cover style, and just reimagining songs in that style, which is that's one of the kind of pie in the sky eventually parts of it.
Answer the question is not off the table original stuff or semi-original stuff.
That'll be after our White Lion Pride tribute tour.
It does sound like Nerdy Woman Nerdy Woman is kind of like an onion, lots of layers to unpeel to that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, there is. It's and eventually
we
we'll make
still
a
have
video.
to shoot a video, which would be great if we ever do it.
Right.
And if anyone out there has like a Star Trek bridge set that we can borrow, please contact us.
I could see
There you go.
Hal's girlfriend Summer dressing up all like nerdy,
honestly,
and she could be the nerdy woman.
All day, all evening, everybody. I know that people are very intrigued to find out more about Nerd Halen, but I think the best way to find out more about Nerd Halen would just be, Vic, let's throw their contact information right up there, and then whoever wants to can talk about what's the best way to get in touch with Nerd Halen. What is your platform of choice? And I'll leave it to you, Hal. You're the spokesperson for Generation.
Take it away, half of Caleb.
Well, you can find us on all social media at Nerd Halen. And then we have a website, nerdhalen.com. And you can book us through there. We are with TKO Booking out of Nashville. And and a good plug, actually, we have a show coming up next Saturday night, January 21st, 2023, in Las Vegas at the M Resort in Henderson, Las Vegas. And we're really looking very forward to that show because it's the first show where Hal can sleep in his own bed. Although, and I right now, Hal, you have a room at the M Resort for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, if you want.
Very exciting. Yeah, my girlfriend and I'll have a staycation there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I'll see you Friday for rehearsal.
Okay.
The day before the show.
Yeah. In my garage here.
In your garage. Exactly.
Yeah. In Vegas. Right.
Isn't it always great to play a hometown event, but you get the hotel anyway?
Yes. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. It's a good time. And believe me, my girlfriend will insist. We'll even though she's
it's your second honeymoon. It'll be your second honeymoon. It's great,
right? Yeah, of 7. The fascinating part, I think, and we're playing in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, we have three shows in the next 6 weeks.
So let's do this, so I can put it into a nice clip. And Federica, who's done such a great job of promoting this show all the way, Federica, Vic Chalpont, the whole RGA team, everybody that's been hanging out in the chat, all these comments, amazing. Thank you very much for hanging. But let's find out which more Nerd Halen, how you can see Nerd Halen live. So you got the show in Vegas, and what else?
The 21st, we have the Vegas show. Then the 24th, right away, we're in Highland, California, which is Inland Empire, at the Yamava Resort Casino at Rocket Cruise. And then next month in February 18th, a Saturday night, we'll be down in Huntington Beach, California, at a place called the Mamba. And I'm billing it as our last small club show, and I'm just trying to will that as a.
And believe me, you have to. I'm still convinced Caleb is some sort of a witch because all he has to do is hope for something, and it goes through the space-time continuum of about 7 years, and then it actually happens. So be careful, what you whisper in his ear. Secondly,
you see it can happen. You just got to put it out there, put out the energy.
That's right. And I will be hosting on the 14th of February the Valentine's Day Ultimate Jam at the Whiskey, and at some point we'll have to, when you're in town, we'll have to drag you down there and have you join us. Yeah,
you will not have to drag me. I will come there gladly. Come there willingly. Just so you know, half a Caleb right there is not. Well, check out Hal Sparks. There's always social media stuff. There's half a Hal. But just so you know, I want you to know that I know for a fact that Caleb is not a witch. He's just watched The Secret about 17 times.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Great. And I love The Secret.
I do too. What's the difference? Yeah.
Oh, you got a new song called The Secret, do you, Hal?
Yeah, right. No, it's right.
We could do Secrets off Ever Down.
Yeah, that's right. See, and get it winking an eye. I think it's more like he read the monkey's paw and then didn't read the ending. But right.
You know what? I want to make sure that I give credit where credit's due because you guys have been talking about them all day. Victor Broden, did I say his name? Victor Broden, the bass. Broden, Victor Broden. There's my car.
Yeah.
Victor Broden, player, and Vic, if you can put up a picture of Jeff Page, just so you know. Not only, maybe not that picture, but maybe one of his face where I can see him. There you go. When I saw Jeff Page play with you guys in Nerd Halen, he could not only be in a Nerd Halen, Van Halen tribute band, he could also easily be in a Cheap Trick, Bunny Carlos. Come on, really?
Yeah, right.
Do you guys get that all the time?
You should see the comments. Like every other comment on a post is that Bunny Car? Like, is that what happened?
Is he bummed about it? Is he bummed or is he good with it?
I don't know if there's really.
I think he appreciates the association. Jeffrey, I will say for the record, is a lovely human being. Works very hard, too hard sometimes. He's a very sweaty man, and he appreciates anybody at any time. It's true. He schwitzes a lot because he works harder than anybody on. He's moving more than anybody but me on stage. I mean, granted, I do the jump splits sometimes 3-4 times during the show, but still, he's not to mention Hot for Teacher. But Jeff's lovely, and that's not even the best shot. Jeff works his ass off. He's very particular about the songs. He takes like every hit seriously. He'll bag on himself for stuff that he was like, I did the wrong mess up that Alex messed up on sometimes, which on the live track he messed up on this part and I messed up a phrase earlier, that kind of stuff.
Impossible drums. Impossible drum parts that Alex Van Halen would come up with, and that's why I have nothing but respect for both Victor Brodin and Jeff Page. I mean, you call him Jeffrey, but Jeff, please take the Bunny Carlos as a compliment.
Yeah.
He was the musicologist. He was the nerd, the music nerd of Cheap Trick, if you will. And honestly, I have nothing but respect for both you guys for coming on the podcast as well. What can I say? I mean, you guys have everybody that's in the chat right now. Go follow their social media, Nerd Halen. Go see them at a show that we just announced. And
tell your venues, tell your local venues you want us. That's the best way to get us to your town. Is to just
annoy them,
pester them, and say we want Nerd Halen, and then they'll come ask us to play and send us an offer.
Listen to Half Caleb. Listen to Half Caleb when he's talking about that, and follow his social media as well. Everybody, of course, follow this channel. If you are just tuning in right now, you're going to have to rewind. You're going to have to do a lot of rewinding right now. Hit that subscribe button. This has been our first show of the In the Trenches podcast. Guys, I can't thank you enough for hanging with me. The reason why I'm being so quick is because, honestly, I got to go pee. But I want you to I mean, how can you not have to pee?
I have a catheter in.
Oh, that's the trick. That's the trick.
Yeah, I learned it from, it wasn't the movie The End. The Man Who Loved Women, Burt Reynolds. Remember when he went to S just to hit on that girl and he had to, if they don't let you pee, so he put in a catheter and peed into a whiskey flask, tied to his leg, and everybody could hear the drip in the entire place because the floor was mic'd.
I remember that.
No, I just remember Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory had really fucked up meth teeth. That's all I know about that.
Sure. Yeah, that I mean, if you have lock-on images in your head, that's one of them. Absolutely.
Oh, you can't unsee that. You cannot unsee that. You know what? Honestly, next time we have you on, because there will be a next time, whether we're on the road with Alice and we're crossing paths and we get to meet in person, or we get you guys on again. I promise you we'll talk a little bit more technical stuff. I mean, Caleb had his guitar out. We were going to talk about, I know we talked about all the endorsements that you have, but we were going to get into some, some technical stuff because, I got my guitar here.
We're going to open for Alice, I think.
That's a great idea. You're going to very theatrical. We're fun.
Let's all watch The Secret tonight, and then make that manifest. Let's manifest.
Open for Alice. You're gonna play golf with Alice in the next month, and you're gonna say, "Hey, these guys are great." In fact, on the cruise, I was able to ask Alice a question in that big room that you guys played. He had like a question and answer. Q&A. And I asked him about Van Halen, but I also said that I'm in a band here on the cruise called Nerd Halen, and the whole place erupted. It was probably the coolest moment for me so far on the whole trip because we played that cruise and everyone really took a notice.
They were great.
Really
cool. And Alice bought a mandolin from a friend of my dad's when I was like 6, 7 years old, not even maybe 5. We were living in Louisville at the time. and my dad had done the setup on it, because my dad does guitar and like acoustic setups for people like Bela Fleck and Sam Bush and people who play with Emmylou Harris and Dolly Parton and that crowd. Has my whole life. He's a bluegrass musician as well as being an architect. And my dad did the setup, and Alice came to our house in Louisville, I think, to pick it up when they were on the road touring. I'll
ask about that.
Yeah. He bought a mandolin in like the mid '70s and my dad Harry Sparks did the setup on it.
Wow. I will definitely ask him about that, because I can't unequivocally 100% say that we'll be on the same show, even though I can 99% say it, because I honestly believe in the secret too, and Caleb will just manifest it with his witchcraft spells, whatever he does. But I can't 100% say it, but 100% I can say that I will be golfing with Alice, and I will bring up that story. How about that?
And you'll bring up the fact that we're going to, that we should open for you. Yes.
Of course.
Yes. And you should give us, an eighth size of the stage, just like, you would. So
we'll play on the floor in front of the stage. We're cool.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Down in the photography pit.
That's right.
In the early days, didn't Van Halen have to deal with that when they would open up for bigger bands? So you guys are pretty good with the eighth of a stage, right?
We make it happen.
Mm-hmm. I could jump right over the riser. It doesn't matter. They'll spring me from the back, and it was boing.
And my back leg on my jumps will not hit Hal, because it goes above his head. So
that's true.
Well, Hal Sparks, thank you for joining and giving us and giving our audience a chance to do like seamless screenshots, because you were pretty much stationary the whole entire show. I love it. Don't worry, we might change it though, because we're going to have some another feed that comes through with our regular thing. We're trying something new with our platform. Caleb Rappaport, thank you so much for gracing us in your studio. Both of you guys in Nerd Halen, thank you so much. Really quick, obviously, the somber note, Jeff Beck passed away. We just found out as well that Lisa Marie Presley passed away just recently, and we want to send out just our, I don't know. What do you say? Just something like that. It's fucked up when something like this happens, and we just want to.
It's okay to just feel it. Here's what I want to say, because a lot of people feel like there has to be sort of performative condolences because of social media these days, and I want to give everybody the permission to not respond in a social or outward way. You can just experience it, and then if you have to have a conversation about it later, it's not lessened by the fact that you don't know what to type or how to put it, or that what you write seems trite. It seems trite, write it anyways, because it's meaningful to you. But there is no way. There are no words. Right. And the closer you are to it, the farther the words will be away from you a lot of times. And so it's all right. It's all right.
Connected.
To feel it.
We're all connected.
Yep. Same thing with Eddie. Like none of us know how to even talk about his passing.
We live and we all die. So live. Yep. Make sure you live. Make sure you do the things you want to do. You want to start a Van Halen tribute band that's stupid? Go do it.
Knock your socks off.
Don't waste your time.
Literally. Yeah.
Honestly, that's the best takeaway, honestly, because when I heard about Jeff Beck, and then then this morning, Lisa Marie Presley, I was like, I just texted my wife, said, you know what, let's just live.
Maybe this is not live.
And enjoy it. Enjoy the ride is what I say at the end of every show that I do. So do you guys have any of that life advice? I think you just gave a great sort of way to.
That was my serious take. Here's my other take. They say, live each day as if it were your last. So now I cry all the time and curse God. Why me? I'm insufferable.
It's hard to go away from that advice. It's hard to not hear that. Caleb, do you have any sort of advice for our audience that and there it is.
I lost my mom a few months ago. I would say call your mom, call your dad if you still can. There she is. Just I'm glad she got to see what's going on with me, because it took me a long time to get it going with this thing, and
she had a wow moment, and that's a beautiful thing. She
definitely knew what was happening for us. So
pressing people.
Yeah,
good.
Just live. We're all going to buy it. I'm sorry, it's a surprise to some people, but we're only here for a little time, so get it going, enjoy it.
And the world needs you. Here's the other thing too: is what you're doing is not criminal and violent and damaging. Whatever it is, the world needs it. I don't care if you just like juggling is your thing; it doesn't fucking matter. And every musician, even if you try to copy who you're copying exactly, you're still going to put you in it, and that's necessary. Like Nerd Halen, was Caleb's like gift to the world of his love of Van Halen. We're not, you know what I mean? Even in the direct attempt to copy and show, he still infused it with an important part of himself that made it better as a tribute, I think, in people's experience. And that's, everybody has that something, and it's also day to day. If you like when people up behind a counter go, "How you doing today?" or whatever, they do it for funky. I always go, "Awesome," or "Amazing," or "Spectacular," and "I'll get better," or something like that. Because if you're not going to be a joy in the world, stay home. Honest to God, don't inflict your misery on other people. And if you are out in the world, you're lucky, you're alive. Calm the fuck down and enjoy it.
A lot of great words, a lot of great advice. Honestly, I'm so happy that our audience was able to see this. We were able to see Hal Sparks and Caleb Rappaport of the band Nerd Halen. Go check out all their social media. Go check out their live shows. Make sure to check us out next week, because next week we have Red Beach on the In the Trenches podcast. You guys hang out for a little while, and everybody else in the chat, thank you so much for showing up. Thanks for being a part of it. I'm Ryan Roxy. Until next time, with Nerd Halen, this is In the Trenches. Enjoy the ride. See ya.
I hope that's not copyright strike. All right, everybody. Perfect timing. I just finished my breakfast. Hey, Kiki Sheets. Hey, Jeannie Shannon. Hi there. I was in the back eating my breakfast. This is what we call an impromptu show. I've been waiting for the road to open. It's open now. Looks like the wind has died down. So I'm gonna get while the getting's good. And so I had breakfast and I got my coffee. We were listening to some Nerd Halen and on the what was it? The Ryan Roxy show there. And now it's me. Now you got me. So apparently he didn't tell us that he wasn't going to go on. All of a sudden I just saw on Twitter that he posted, I'm going to be on this podcast, and he posted a link to it. So I just clicked on it. So he was doing, I guess it was a last second thing. So he didn't go on his show this morning. I don't know if he's going to go on. Let me see. He's probably going to wait till the afternoon show now, I would imagine. But who knows, right? Let's see. Is Hal going to go on? I wonder. I don't see him on here. So, I don't know. But anyhow, I thought I would do another, hey, Aaron West, thanks for being here. I thought I would do another show, I guess we call it show, live stream, whatever, from the dash. Maybe that's what we'll call it, from the dash. And I know it's not a good shot because you're seeing all that stuff on the windshield. It blocks half the shot. I'm still working it out, folks. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how how to keep it more steady with what I got. So Kinky Street says, waiting for the GOP and Trump to blame Lisa Marie Presley death on COVID vaccine. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But anyhow, for now, this is the shot. Hopefully it's not all zoomed in like it was yesterday. I think yesterday, maybe the shaking, it made it zoom in and then it stuck there. But anyhow, we're doing a lot of kind of experimental stuff here on the Trucker Drawn channel. And so we'll see how it goes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll just go back to the old drawing board. But I guess what I'll do is I'll just I was gonna put on, like, I don't think Hal's going on. I don't see him on here anywhere. I'll probably just have a show playing in the background as I'm driving. Maybe I like Tom Hartman. Here's Tom Hartman.
And boy, do I hate it. I'm with that caller. The other thing is, what I called about is,
But for right now, I'm just gonna go do a quick walk around on the truck here, and then we're gonna hit the road, and we'll see if this little tape job has any type of noticeable difference. If it's a smoother thing or not. And if if not. If it's not, it's not. If it is, it is. But thanks for being here. 5 people in the chat. Looks like 7 thumbs up. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and hit the share button. Last I looked, we're at, I think, 466. Trying to get to 500. And then from 5, we go on, our next goal will be 1,000. All right, I'm going to step out for a minute. I can see if there's any local radio station. You guys want to? Let's see. Let's see what's on their local radio. That's about it. Static. So yeah, I will get a copyright. Although, I guess it's not that big of a deal. You get a copyright claim.
With cash, the family relocates to a mansion in Beverly Hills, California. Listen to this sound clip known as Ellie Mae's theme, which Pa can root for scenes with Clampett's daughter Ellie Mae.
Okay, I'll be right back. You do a walk around. I've got the earbud in, so you can probably hear me right now. But the phone is up there on the dashboard. So what's going to happen as I get into this trailer, I'm going to be out of range, and it's probably going to shut off for a second. At least the earpod will. Hopefully the whole thing doesn't shut off. So right now I'm walking outside, just so you know, walking along the trailer, checking my tires, no bulges on the sidewall. Mud flap is good. Okay, now I'm at the back of the trailer, so you might lose me. Sometimes it goes out, but the lights are on. Now I'm on the curbside of the trailer. This mud flap looks good. Tires look good. No bulges. Air pressure looks good. I don't see any leaking. Nothing's dangling. No hissing sounds. No material. So the drive tires, they look good. Fifth wheel looks good. I gotta get the start headlight fixed. All right. This truck's falling apart. Okay, so before I take off, can you guys hear me? Just wondering if I lost the sound. Well, as I'm driving, I do like to listen to the shows. So I think I'm going to put Tom Hartman on.
Jack in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Hey, Jack, what's on your mind today?
I don't think Hal's on.
Hi, good
You hear me?
afternoon, Tom.
Okay, great.
Tom, we live in kind of a
Is that?
resurrection of 30s red.
Is it too loud? Is Tom Hartman too
And there's
loud?
a quote, passage at least, and I'll paraphrase.
Should I turn
from
it down?
Great Harass that brings that kind of focus on
Hey,
why
Mohammed,
that
thanks for being here.
In Great
Glad to see
Harass,
it.
there's a
Oh, Hal is
discussion
on.
going about reds and who's a
Okay,
red.
let me switch
And
channels.
the answer given is a red is the guy winning 30 cents an hour when I'm paying 25 cents an hour. And I think that
Oh yeah, I see it.
Thanks, Medium T. I'm glad some of you got to see it. Hello, Illinois. We will be talking about.
So I'll have this playing in the
today.
background. I don't know if it's going to be
She's
weird
one of the
if you're at
trends
home
that I noticed
listening
this morning.
on your own thing.
Thank you. I'm glad you're not miffed. I'm glad you're here.
We'll see how it works.
Yay! Oh, Mark.
All right, I'm going to take off now.
Oh, no, and you're ready to part with it? That's sad.
And
it's a used Nerd Halen shirt. It's heartbreaking.
again, as I'm driving, I don't see the chat
as well. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Who knows? We might get a new group of people for the
might,
morning show because it's a different time elsewhere. I mean, it's evening in Germany.
I'm just going to be driving and listening to the Hal. Okay.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah, great.
Here we go.
Yeah, Halen stories. Yeah, that was a good time. Apparently, they will post the recorded version, which apparently my video was not staggered in. And again, you guys know when I have technical difficulties with my radio station or any of that kind of stuff, I always think it's me. So I'm throwing switches and doing all kinds of stuff, trying to make it work. And then it very often turns out to be whatever website they're using. And in this particular case, if the recording turns out to be fine and the broadcast version isn't, then it's obviously not the signal I'm sending. Right? I wasn't sending two signals. One that worked and one that was fucked up.
I'm in Rawlins, Wyoming, by the way.
So, hello everyone. Excuse me. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. Welcome. The day the Catholic Church murdered the Templar Knights, where allegedly, according to history, a bishop uttered the words that is on patches worn by Marines now. That became a phrase, I guess, during Vietnam a lot, which was "kill them all, let God sort them out." One of those macho patches you'll sometimes see. That was originally a phrase from a Catholic bishop, because they came upon a town where two of the Templars were living in that town in semi-retirement or something, and the town wouldn't tell the bishop and his forces who they were, so they could bring them out and cut their heads, who the Templar is in their town. And the legend has it, the bishop said, "Kill them all."
Uh-oh. It went out already? See, I think what happened is I forgot. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's the phrase. And as a Mason, I experienced Friday the 13th different than others, and it's also why there's not a 13th floor. Like, there could be only one theory with any kind of belief systems and the like. Yeah, so there you go. Thank you for wishing me a happy, the Dan Brown stuff, which he took from that the book Holy Grail.
All right, we're going now. I-80
eastbound. They sued him about it. His thing was a work of fiction, and he took details from it, but they weren't the only people citing it, so blah, blah, blah. Anyways, there you go. That's your Friday the 13th tidbit. You're welcome. And hi, welcome. Glad you could be here. Happy Friday. Yeah, French King owed the money. Part of it as well. Wait, what? Jesus was never married. Yes, he was. The idea was Mary was his wife, not his female companion, that she was from the house of Benjamin, and that they married as sort of in kind of a royal wedding almost. And then they had 3 children, all of whom went to live in France, and then one of them went
and he knows this how?
Up into England, and the bloodlines, Mary Magdalene, the bloodlines of the French aristocracy.
I'm sure this is all well documented, right?
It's partially based on the idea that one of Jesus's kids started that line, or infused it with holiness. That's the theory. That's where it comes from for the story. And by the way, there's no reason why it can't 100% be true and part of an earlier update of the sim we live in, and it was just wiped away in enough.
We're not living in a sim.
Multiple security updates our sim that we all live in has had, and just is
bullshit.
No longer true. But that doesn't mean
real.
It wasn't at the time.
This is not a sim.
Just like Windows 5 and Windows 7.
Stop living in your fantasy
Windows
world,
7 still exists, and Windows 5 exists, but Windows 5 isn't in Windows 7. That makes sense? And you can't use stuff from Windows 5 in Windows 7. Does that make sense? Anyways, all right. So, did you warp into a Sunday morning stream? Yes. Jesus was MIA for 33 years. Yeah, that's the idea that he went to India and Egypt to study mysticism and all that stuff, which most people, a lot of people take as learning hand magic. The old sleight of hand. You're like, how many fish do I have here? I've never met you. Have I, sir? 2. Do we see 2 fish? And a multitude of fish. Sir, take those down to you and your family. Fantastic. Absolutely. Now, ma'am, come up here. We've never met before. Can you come up on stage or whatever here? Let me check. Can you take these 2 loaves? Yeah, check those out. Make sure those are real loaves. And, hey, yeah, there we go. They smell like bread. It's normal bread. Nothing interesting. No hinges or anything of that. Ladies and gentlemen, a multitude of bread. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Take the bread with you, ma'am, and thank you very much. And you might want your watch. Yes, you might want your watch. So.
Yeah, that was funny.
Right, and then he's up here going, let's see, who wants the moneylenders in the temple? Give me up the gun. Which card is the moneylender? Notice how I'll read the chat. It goes by so fast. I catch it in pieces, and then I have a thought, and then I go back. Can't get it all, but I try. Also, I absorb. Your brain can take in more words than it can. What is it? Like sublingually. No, it's under your tongue. I'm forgetting the term for it, but where you have to
Subliminally.
speak every word you read. If you can explain 2 Corinthians.
Subliminally.
Yes. They both 2 Corinthians.
I think is what he's trying to say.
A bar, and yeah, tip your waitress. Thank you very much. Hal, the clicker picker. By the way, I think that might be the birth of a bit because I happen to think Jesus, the Presto at the Presto Club, might really explain a lot. That's what ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a little play I like to call Jesus at the Presto Club. Sir, all right, and this is a dead person, and look at him floating. And now, how did this person die? Saw it in half, say you. No? There they are. Old person, thank you very much, sir. You're back. Yeah. Jesus just get in Las Vegas, right? Think you can slow down the chat out? No, I can't, because if you'll notice, it is not one chat, it is all chats. All chats, everyone's chat.
I
Mr.
did not.
already did that? Yeah, that didn't surprise me. Jesus Copperfield. Jesus the prop comic. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4. That the standout one for you, Paul? I don't have that one memorized. I'll check. Let me, hold on. Paul's asking for it. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4. Let's do it. Okay. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4.
Or
now this is the
or 2 Corinthians.
The introduction of the gospel that he's basically this is the part where he's telling you that this is the word you'll use and the word you'll be this. Right, there you go. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you of the gospel I preached to you, which you received on and which you have taken your stand. By this gospel you are saved if you hold firmly to the word it reads you, otherwise you believe in vain. Obviously, just like the Second Amendment, Republicans read basically half a verse of what Jesus says. For what I received, I passed on to you in first importance that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that He was buried and He was raised on the 3rd day according to the Scriptures. I love how they lay it off on the Scriptures. According to the Scripture, come on. Jesus is the Son of God. According to the Scriptures. Don't fucking at me, okay? It's literally the first time in history that somebody said "don't at me" was basically Paul, right? Well, he was quoting Jesus. That was Paul, right? The Hallelujah tour. Hallelujah. Right. Jesus saved Christ on a popsicle stick. Who is it, Mr. Singleton?
So he would have to have Fugelsang tour with him.
Oh, you got your Jason gear on, ready for a marathon?
He did that.
Excuse me, for the first one, you have to be dressed like his mother. I don't want to. I'm not nitpicking here.
I can see
but
how
the first movie,
Fugelsang
his mom did all the killing.
touring.
I don't want to bum you out, but spoiler alert. It took the vengeance and death of Jason Voorhees' mother. Yes, and no mask till 3. That's right. That's absolutely right. The hockey mask didn't come in till later. That was a branding choice. You got to spice it up a little bit. Let's bring in the sports fans. You know what demographic the Friday the 13th movies are? Hockey fans. That was it. Wasn't Jefferson a deist? He was indeed. Which means he believes in a God, but he believes it can fit into the corpus callosum of a human being. It's too big. And anybody who pretends to know or says they know is full of shit. Which is, I think, the ballpark you'll find me in. He was a Hanson. He was no Hanson, brother. That's true. He had a burlap bag. That's right. It was a sack. It was like a little potato sack. It wasn't a full burlap thing. And it was because the burn, or the water log, I guess, technically, makeup, the rotten body makeup just looked like shit. That's a sign of creativity, kids. And you can solve a lot of problems by masking your villain. Burlap, yeah. Okay, coach, just put it on the foil. Just watched Harry Sparks and Vince Gill play a song at the Ryman? Oh yeah, real guy. That's my dad and Vince Gill. That's right. Nice. Let's see. Did you know the Survivor from the original has a Crystal Lake wine? No. That's amazing though. Does it taste like pond water? Jesus. Oh yeah, my dad, weirdly enough, the one kind of celebrity friend that we've had most of my life is Vince Gill of all people. Multi-country music award-winning Vince Gill. Good friends with my dad, always has been.
He's a great singer. Great artist.
What do you think of the special counsel for the Biden documents? I'm for it. I'm for it.
Get it out. Get it
Don't
all out
delay
there.
and look straight into it because they're going to end up hitting bottom. It's going to be super frustrating for Republicans. There'll be one of this like mishandling documents. This was a copy of a copy. Even if, by the way, if it wasn't like out of date shit from when he was vice president, that's no longer germane in the current year. And the idea that he went, oh shit, let's make sure there's nothing out there and do exactly what's right. That's what the investigation will show. I give a fuck. I'm dead serious. I was clamoring about like post the whole fucking Hunter Biden laptop, laptop hard drive, and then they do, and it's bigger than the hard drive capacity of the laptop he allegedly left. And according to John Paul McIsaac, the laptop that Hunter left, it wasn't even full. Like, he didn't get all the files. So, fuck it. Look into it. Fuck it. Give me all the daylight. I'm for it. You think Obama declassified some stuff? There's a chance, but I don't think that matters. I think it's a matter of like the timing and level of classification. By the way, top secret versus, just classified, like classified eyes only or classified within the realm of what the vice president. He kept his security clearance after being vice president at the same level, by the way. Most presidents do. Remember when they turned Trump's off? And the vice president, well, nobody has this fantasy I can magically declassify stuff like Trump says he did, which is a garbage thing too. Again, dig into both equally. I have no problem with that. But when they look at the Trump stuff, it's just going to look cartoonishly shitty. Called Pure Prairie. Oh, Pure Prairie League? Yes, that's where Vince Gill started. He was in Pure Prairie League when he saved my life. Yep. Vince Gill saved my life. There you go. Safer by the vet than by the pool chemicals. Yeah, and again, like they're going to make it like the ones that were at the Penn Center in the locked closet are equal to the ones that were in the garage mixed in with personal documents and that were classified, like, memos or uncopied. It's going to be silly. Like I said, look into it. Dive into special counsel. Dig a fucking hole. Do you notice I didn't sweat any of the, like the Durham report stuff? Remember that shit? Who cares? Honest to God. And by the way, why Nero wasn't missing documents? Because more than likely, because it was they're on the Presidential Records Act, these were like secondary documents, the kind of stuff that Trump is saying, these are mine. This is just a note from fucking the Prime Minister of fucking Israel or something like that, saying thanks for the chocolate cake. It's that level of stuff, but it doesn't matter. They'll go through it and then they give it to them, and then it's copies and food. And like I said, if there's anything that has to be at NARA that they're like, okay, we have that and it's cleared and we're good, which is what it will be. Like by the time they're done with it, and I'm fine. It was in the glove of his bed. Because I think it was Malcolm Nance was talking about how he was taking his medical records at one point, and there were mission stuff about where he was stationed and what he might have been exposed to, probably a burn pit related stuff to make sure he's checked for whatever. All that, he found things in his medical file, realized it was secret, took it back and said, that shouldn't be there, signed a piece of paper, and then gave, they took that stuff up and gave his medical records back to him. there's no doubt that Biden has a bunch of those documents as well, and the health documents of any president or vice president will be classified or declassified.
I wonder if Hal's going to do an all-day marathon today.
This is a dark branded red.
What?
I have seen Vince in concert when he comes in the room, put your guitar down. Yeah, he's very good. He's also playing with the Eagles right now. Monterey has turned into an island. Holy smokes. Yeah, from the rain. You mean Montecito or Monterey? Like, because Montecito's having the same issue. Green grass anti-throw. All air inoculations are listed and where you receive them. Right, exactly. I'm not traveling. I was on another podcast promoting a Nerd Halen gig next weekend. So thank you for understanding that. And if you have to watch this later because the timing's off, I apologize. And I'll be on at the regular time this afternoon. Fear not. Next week, however, I might have a Friday morning live TV thing that I have to do here in town, and then I'll rush back over to do my show after that. Just heads up next week. And then
Yeah, we'll post that shit
Wednesday
where we can see it.
morning, I might have to punt the morning show so that I can get back to Vegas in time to do the afternoon show from here, because we're driving back from LA after the jam. Unless we feel like total assholes right after the jam and just drive back like I normally do. Because I'm a busy boy. Lots going on. So,
I think Hal Sparks needs a driver. I'll be his driver.
And theft is different than, is this your
I'll drive him around.
You said
That way he can sleep when he goes back to Vegas.
paper by mistake. Like, that's not a crime. Saying, I picked up your paper by mistake, but it's mine now because, possession is 9/10 of the law. Its skill is absolutely stolen. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. It's nice to have that permission once in a while. TikTok of fake news is how it continues to hide, censor, and cover up the Twitter files reports. Week 6, yes, that's, yeah. I hide them by tweeting the bullshit in them and dunking on them specifically. As a matter of fact, this morning, there was a new drop. These are the Twitter files are the new Q drops, and Taibbi put some shit out that was. I have to say, look, I expected the Twitter files could have gone one of two directions, and I'll show you what I pointed out in mine, which, by the way, includes addressing the final tweet because I read the whole thing. But in the, I thought the Twitter files could go one of two directions. One is they get access to more stuff, and the evidence of, FBI colluding with big tech would get deeper and more obvious, and it would look like something bad was happening, or something bad was indeed happening. That's a possibility, because Trump was running the place when all this was happening, and it was Chris Wray is his dude. So this, I don't know what the fuck. But the other way is, of course, it could just evaporate and they just stop. The one direction I didn't really factor in is that they would keep hammering this, and it would get weaker and weaker as it went on. Because the latest drop was fucking embarrassing. It was great. And by the way, welcome, trolls. Glad you could be with us. All of us have one thing in common in life. Our time is the one thing we can never get a refund on. And when you spend your time with me, I for the people who like the show, I feel I deliver and make that worth your while, that I'm giving you a little something, and you're enjoying it, and maybe it adds a little information, fun the rest of your day. If you hate watch, it's amazing. As I don't know how you do that. I have to watch some stuff, but for my job, because of what I'm trying to convey as a message and show contrast, this on the other hand, yeah, this is amazing. I mean, maybe you don't have anything else. Probably not. Or it's a decent job. What do you get? And by the way, you're welcome here, and trolls are always welcome here as long as you stay away from the racial epithets. You'll have to put that in another chat room. I understand it might be hard. It's a knee-jerk reaction at this point, but just dial it back a notch. Stay within the TOS, and you'll be just fine. Katie Porter, happy? Yes, I think Katie Porter will be fantastic. She's running for Senate. She's already announced, and she was smart to get out ahead of it. Because there's going to be other people. Like I think Barbara Lee and Schiff have been talking about it. Barbara Lee, I think, even officially announced it afterwards. Who's claiming that Lisa Marie died from COVID? The usual deniers? No, I think they're claiming that. I think those folks think the vaccine killed her. That's anybody who has a heart attack now, even though it's the number one way people die in the United States for fucking ever. Ask her dad. Anytime somebody has a heart attack or a heart problem now, it's all vaccine related. Whether they've been vaccinated or not, I give you the diamond effect. Yeah.
Oh, you went there, huh, Hal?
Yeah, she had cardiac arrest. Her husband did CPR on her. They did epinephrine on her. Got a pulse back. Took her to the hospital. She passed away there. It's just very sad. And anybody who dies of accident, absolutely. Patreon's simple. Let me get back on talking. She looked rough. That video of her at the
Golden Globes.
I think that was
Golden
Globes. Where
Yes.
she's on the carpet in the Golden Globe, where she was like, "Help me out here" or whatever. She was hanging on her husband, boyfriend. She looked a mess. It looked like she, and a lot of like the second to last time I did CPR on someone who had a heart attack, this guy at my health club in LA, in Santa Monica, keeled over. And while I was doing impressions and giving him mouth to mouth, I realized that his lips were super pink, not infused with blood red, but like almost like lipstick. And it was because he had been drinking Pepto all day. Because I believe, in retrospect, at that moment, it was clear he thought he was having heartburn, and it was actually small heart attacks.
Wow.
And so he had little ones all the way up to the big one.
Wow.
And the she we're talking about is Lisa Marie Presley. And there could be, heart attack is different from cardiac arrest. No. All right. Her heart stopped. That's cardiac arrest. It's still a heart attack. Why your heart stops is because she didn't stop because oxygen flow was cut off to her body. It's a distinction without a difference. Anyways, point is, it was clear to me that he thought he ignored his symptoms. Heartburn. Small heart attacks can feel like heartburn, and that's what he thought. He was obviously sipping Pepto-Bismol to deal with it for a day or so beforehand.
Wow.
And then he had it.
Uh-oh.
That's why people should check their pulse and why grip strength and all that. Those other signs are very important.
At some point, we're probably
I
going to lose the signal.
But a heart attack
Because
is
you're in
why
Wyoming.
the heart stops. Again, important medical distinction, but for the purpose of her husband seeing that she went into cardiac arrest where her heart stopped, the why of it leading up to it, it is effectively a heart attack. And a heart attack, by the way, is a generic way of expressing when anyone's heart stops, arrests, and anything that isn't a tachyarrhythmia or a misaligned arrhythmia. I mean, if your heart stops, most people think of that as a heart attack, a convulsing of the muscle, for whatever purpose. So that's why they come in and say they had it was cardiac arrest. It was their heart. But they describe it as a medical professional, which is, heart attack is more the colloquialism. It's not that important.
Someone just wants to be a nitpicky little troll.
It's like if you lose strength in your left side. Same thing with strokes. A lot of times when people have strokes or heart attacks, they start feeling their pain in their left arm, and their pulse goes weak and they lose a bit of grip strength, that kind of, it's harder to close the arm, right? That's one of the ways, like, famously in Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, when his dad dies of a heart attack, he starts going, oh no, because he feels it in his arm, and he starts doing this. Chester, you had a cough a long time. Practice what you preach about. I'm fine. I'm easing out of this. It's okay. I've been checked. We're okay. It's just a nag. I know some people wish it wasn't, but it is.
Tomorrow, more high winds.
Yes, left jaw pain, right. Myocardial infarction. She might have been on drugs again. I mean, that would be, she's just dealing with the death of her son recently. She's obviously had a lot of grief in her life. She may medicate. Some of her medication, that she was getting might have been bottom shelf or off market, as it were. And, you can overdo it. And waiting till the kids go to school to use is not that uncommon. There's a lot to it. So, if men could handle pain, they'd have babies. Well, men's pelvises don't expand for Scientology stuff. I had my thumb sawed open and 3 screws put in. Be patient with us. I cry, Jenna. It's alright. And don't have wombs. This is true. And it's not spelled that way, but yes, we don't have either. We don't have enough wombs. Yeah, she quit Scientology. That's what I thought. I don't think, I remember it being a blurb about her, kind of like the Will Smith story, but I never know if it took off. You can always tell if an actor is a Scientologist, because at some point they have to do like a curiously odd space movie. Like Battlefield Earth in the case of John Travolta, which was really ham-handed and shitty. Or Oblivion, which is the Tom Cruise one, which I actually really like. Have you guys seen Oblivion?
I like that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Heart attack is not a medical term. That's the point. Yep. Doctor told you that a man would die from the pain of childbirth, besides they would hemorrhage and bleed out. I'm sure there are people who survived battlefield surgery in the Civil War who would like a word.
No, you don't have to go that far back.
Oblivion was entertaining. It was entertaining, and there's a really it's basically like a 2-hour Twilight Zone movie, but I liked it.
I like the house he lived in Oblivion.
It was interesting because I watched Minority Report with Ethan the other night, and we've been on a Colin Farrell kick, and he's the villain turned ally in that, and it's a spoiler alert, but he comes across as kind of a classic guy jockey for your job villain, and he's terrific at it.
Spoilers are forever,
his whole,
man.
Being Catholic and kissing his cross, or it's a medallion of it might be a St. James medallion, St. John medallion. Anyways, he kisses it whenever there's a ceremony. He's a man of faith, and everybody isn't. They're all sciencey, and that's what separates him, and it makes him. It's intended to make him look spooky and untrustworthy, which is really interesting. And then, right at the moment he actually realizes that Cruise's character isn't guilty. It's a great moment. It's a terrific use of a character. Also, he gets in one of his first movies, Lucky as a Philip K. Dick story, really great. One of the better uses of a short story of his. But he gets the big run-up shot that Spielberg likes to do. I was on Jeopardy and I won $50,000 for Doctors Without Borders. You're welcome. Colin Farrell's nummy. I have a great Colin Farrell story. He's a good dude. I met him in Toronto. Collateral is terrific. I agree. I love Collateral. I own that one. That's a good time. But in particular, And I'm going to blitz on the name. Hold on, let me move down 1 Corinthians and move that out of the way so I can still talk to you guys. And I'm blitzing on her name right now, and I hate that. Samantha Morton. Yeah, so Samantha Morton plays Agatha, the main precog.
Oh yeah.
And Banshees of Inisherin is terrific if you haven't seen it. But Samantha Morton, and this is in case you hear the cast, I'll brought it up again. Samantha Morton, that's her. She plays Agatha, the main precognitive psychic. And by God, Max von Sydow was a huge man, and he's in this movie with Colin and Tom Cruise, who are both short. Yeah. Anyways, so Samantha Morton. She's terrific as Agatha. She doesn't get a lot to do because she's just kind of floating in a tub most of the time, and then when she finally gets her out, she's crippled because she never walks and all this stuff, but it's really well done. And the speech she gives about his son and what happened to him, I'm in podcast mode. I do. You guys are some of the voices in my head. That's just how it works. That moment in that, sounds more like a chick flick now, but it's not. It's just sorrow in that moment, and it drives the rest of it. But you have to understand how driven he has to be to solve this involves him gouging out his own eyes.
Spoiler!
So it has to be his want and his solve on this has to be so fucking extraordinary.
Huge spoiler.
That far. So anyways, her performance in that, fucking fantastic. I would say it's better than Banshees of Inisherin, but yeah.
I hope it was buffering during that huge spoiler.
I'm at a party that I was invited to by one of my co-stars on Queer as Folk, played Hunter, and he was in a movie where he and another actor played the younger version. Oh, thank you, GMB. I will. We're going to get there one day. Where he played the younger version of this other actor and Colin Farrell. I'm blitzing on the other actor's name, but anyway. Six rando Canadian actor people at this party, and maybe a couple of Brits and people that are working on their thing. And leaning next to the sink is Colin Farrell. I'll tell you, there you go. So he's leaning back. He's got his hands on the sink. He's just kind of leaning back. And I notice, and I don't know whether it's because he read a book or something, but he is doing this primate dominance exercise where you hold someone's gaze without blinking longer than they can. And this might have been partial to the character that he was playing. So sometimes you just pick up a trait. And people who are psychotic or have sociopathic tendencies tend not to blink, and they can hold your gaze longer than you can. And when you finally blink, that's their moment of dominance. So that's an old. I'm sure he drinks now at work, or he did for a period of time. He wasn't then, and he didn't smell the smell. As a matter of fact, it might have been because he was filming that day, and I had been filming that day that we. He's in my elbows. We had both had our makeup cleansed off by a makeup artist earlier in the day, and so arguably in that moment, our faces would have smelled almost exactly the same. He did not read me. I've only had one actor that I met that, I was like, what the fuck? How is that okay? Ethan Hawke.
just threw Ethan Hawke under the bus, I guess.
I miss Talk Soup too. Yes, I've seen Requiem for.
Now, it looks like the phone is still shaking. So the tape job didn't work. Apparently. I don't know if it's better or worse than yesterday. I won't know until I can watch a replay of it. So as far as I know, we're still broadcasting. The iPad has gone out. Apparently, that's what we were listening to Hal Sparks on.
At least 12 away, and whoa, it was just like a brutal. You know the smell I'm talking about? The acetic, the acid reflux, bad breath, cigarette meets hint of urine body odor smell, like the big wafting. Fuck. Yeah. Have I ever been to the Celebrity Center? No, I have not. Sometimes stand-up shows there, and I've never been invited to those. Did you miss anything exciting? Nah. No inside Hollywood stories or anything like that. It's been kind of boring one. Yeah. Ugh, it's just bad. Projecting, with Danny Liner trying to, kind of give notes, and the idea was that Philip Stark wrote it, and it was from that 70s show, so I think Ashton kind of felt, and maybe rightly so, that it was his movie, and that he was the main guy, and Sean William Scott was, his sidecar, not necessarily co-star, not judging nothing, but that was essentially minors and people with physical parts of their physical person they cannot do anything about. Which, by the way, is why I think weight, both heavy and skinny, are both fodder for humor. And you can take that punch if you can swing it and knock yourself out. If it's funny, it'll work, and if it isn't, it'll go, and blah, blah, blah. But you don't make fun of somebody's nose or whatever, because that's there. They can't change
Body
that.
shamer.
It's like height or any of that shit. So he had on the week before this particular episode. I remember it was like fucking yesterday. Dennis Miller had the National Spelling Bee was on, where for kids, and the kid who won it
Do they have an adult one?
that year was would absolutely set off anyone's gate up. Very, but so proud of himself that he won. And so, and you can just, you knew, no big deal. That's that kid. But an amazing win by this kid, killed it. And Dennis Miller put his face up on the little screen next to him, like that, and said, "Your word is effeminate." And I was like, fuck you. Fuck you. That's not a grown man, Lindsey Graham, in the closet kind of joke about an adult who get taken or whatever. That was a 13-year-old fucking kid. And Dennis Miller, on the hippest show on HBO, basically dunked on the queer kid on his show. And I was like, I'm done. There were moments where I was ebbing and flowing, as you do with any artist or any comedian, and I was like, nope. fuck you. It still gets my gander up. I still nope. Just a piece of shit. That's just it's a shitty thing to do to a teenage fucking kid. And believe me, when I was on Talk Soup, some jokes like that were floated. And my answer was no. And they would, some of the writers would push back, but it's funny. Yeah, it's funny to you. And I didn't say this, but your douchebag friend that thought it up with you. But it's not. Because you can't do anything about it. Anything you do something about, fair game. Anything. Even if you're short, you have leg extension surgery, and you decide to do that or whatever, or you body mod yourself into something and you want to look like a cat or whatever the fuck, that's your choice to do it. But no one has to react to it the way you react to it. It doesn't work that way. And it's okay. You did that. You made a choice. The joke is about the choice, not the thing at that point. So, hence my ease at all the filler and marzipan jokes that I make, because it's a choice. And I personally feel that when you're writing, especially, there's 10,000 jokes for every joke you're writing. You just have to find the other one that's equally as funny to you and put that one in. So, and I know writers that were on that show. Rick Overton, I think, won an Ace or an Emmy for his writing on that. And I never sat Rick down and asked him whose joke that was. I probably should remember. He smokes a lot of weed. I doubt it was his, though. I guarantee it. But for me, that's a hard line. Being gay is a choice. Maybe so. But he didn't say your word is gay. He said your word is effeminate, which is a trait the kid had innately or how he was being. Which is
and effeminate.
He's an asshole. And again,
is an automatic.
If you want to have that argument with Milo Yiannopoulos, who thinks it is a choice and thinks he's chosen to no longer be gay and whatever, knock yourself the fuck out. As a matter of fact, choice jokes about Milo Yiannopoulos are on the table because he has stated his opinion that it is a choice.
And he's a grown-ass man. He's a 13-year-old
kid. And you can make fun of his belief about that. But that doesn't entail fucking with somebody else's existence. Right? And that's the difference. It might sound like splitting hairs to people, but it's really important. So yeah. Yeah, and yeah, right. Milo Yiannopoulos is an adult. This kid was 13 fucking years old when Miller made that fucking joke. And so, fuck him. Ricky Gervais, my only problem with Ricky Gervais is the hypocritical nature of his comedy at times.
No,
because he feels this,
it's called being human, Hal.
Group fuck with people in Hollywood as if he's not a part of them, which is not true at all. He also, I find the movie Ghost Town very telling. Considering, and look at the kind of stuff he makes.
I like Ricky
Gervais.
Gervais.
Joe Rogan is the unfunny humanizing douchebag. Is he? No, or he wouldn't have gotten as far as he did. He has very bro energy, and that's why it works and how it works. Whether you like it or not, that's how it's succeeded. You want to know its recipe for success is that he's effectively a sponge that, it's how can I put this? Joe Rogan is like the ceramic that urinals are made out of. There's a purpose for it, and sometimes there's splashback and you hate that, but most of the time you think next time you'll be able to aim right and none of it will get on you. And that's how his guests and everybody who's on the show operate. They try to go and use the Joe Rogan urinal and because they got to go and you need it and it services you and your career, but Sometimes it gets some on you, and sometimes you dodge it. And you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad, and that's why they make clips out of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, the Joe Rogan Experience is a urinal, and that's giving it credit for being necessary. It's like
If anyone's watching on
beggars can't
I-80,
be choosers. So
eastbound,
other than that, I have no idea.
about 13 miles
Also, he's
west
baked the
of
whole fucking
Laramie.
time. Did you guys see his? He had Peter Zion on. I've talked about Peter Zion, and
Just in
he
case
finally
anyone
had
is
him on.
watching. I have
And
no idea
Zion
who it is.
basically dunks on all of
Another thing's been
Rogan's
losing
preconceived
connection.
notions about shit.
I think
And
from here
every
on,
clip
I think from
of
here all the way
Zion
to
that they
Denver,
put
it
up
should be good.
ends with Zion telling him something that is materially and obviously true, and Rogan's response is, "That's it. It's great. It's me. What about Jim Brewer? I don't know that I've had any run-ins with Jim. I just always thought it was weird that he was a clean comedian and then he's just fucking like right-wing Trumper. Odd. From dudes and fellas, if you stand first, puts a TP in the bowl, aim for it, won't splash. It's a good point. It clogs it up, fucks it up for everybody else, but I understand what you're doing. Is Philip a handshake or a hugger? Oh, we hug. Absolutely. Love the parody of Tim Heidegger did of Rogan. I didn't get to see it, but yes. Okay, there you go. Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler, I just saw that go by, is sincerely the sweetest person on earth.
I like Henry Winkler.
And a guy. And Bill Burr, when I met him, was very nice. He played drums at the Rock Against MS thing that I did on Highway to Hell. I think that's what they did. And it was nice to meet him and kind of like say hi. But Burr always has, and again, he comes like I really do see him as kind of a sweetheart on most things. Just kind of like a crotchety old neighborhood dad dude who's just old before his time. But he had this look in his eyes, and it's anytime I've seen him around, it's this kind of like side tick that his eyes do when not when he's on stage and he's performing. He does it blinking that way because the crowd is that way. But you can't. Oh, absolutely, Virginia. Appreciate it. He this constant thing, which I think is tied somehow to his sort of paranoia and conspiratorial shit, where he spends way too much fucking time watching YouTube videos about like Hollow Earth and black helicopters and all that shit. Who's nicer, Henry or Keanu? Henry. Keanu's a good person. He's just shyer and more reserved. Henry is actively sweet. That's what I'm saying. I am a Wasp fan. Absolutely. Yes, I am. I am definitely a Wasp fan. It's weird to me that Blackie's doing this like slow roll Dave Mustaine right wing Christianity arc. It's odd. Whatever. You do you. The Still Not Black Enough album, I love it, and it's mixed for shit, but I still enjoy it. And the song The Idol I love a lot, so there you go. Henry Rawlins is he's nice enough. His shtick, yes. No. Winkler's not gay. How will be Henry Winkler when he grows up? That's true. If I'm lucky. What's up with Journey and Jonathan Kane? Oh, Jonathan Kane is married to Paula White, and she was stealing money from Journey's touring account. Should have been much bigger. Crimson Idol. I agree. And the Headless Children, that album's fucking great. Have I ever met Jim Carrey? I've not. Yeah. What I think of Andrew Dice Clay, I think it was a character people largely overreacted, including him.
I haven't met Jim Carrey. I actually met him,
the
but
idea of like
we have
almost
touched.
like a Jewish performance
I'll
artist
leave it at
doing a
that.
fake Italian character that
For now.
turned into what people thought was really him, was less about the comedy he was doing, because as a character, it's funny. What wasn't funny about Dice after a while was the dudes showing up at his show taking it seriously, that didn't look at it as a gag. What do you think about Andy Dick? I think we're all going to find out about the Andy Dick murders a few years from now, because he's curiously around when people die. Daniel Sloss. Maybe, I don't think so. I met Sean Hayes. Yeah, I've met Sean Hayes. He's very sweet. Oh, thanks, 50 plus. After QIF, he thought I was 100% gay. Nope. 100% not. Sorry. That's just how it works.
You're supposed to say sorry, not sorry, Hal.
The guy on Suddenly Susan, Phil Hartman.
Oh.
Apparently it was Andy Dick that gave his wife the cocaine. Remember that story? And then Chris Farley was partying with Andy the day he died or the night before.
Uh-oh.
I'm making this up. It's a conspiracy theory. I'm joking, but that's
Had me going, Hal.
Is true.
Had me going.
You have a favorite metal cover song? Either direction pop song or pop band covering a metal song. Oh, that's a tough one. How metal are we talking?
Metal.
Talking like
metal.
Metallica level, or are we talking like
Queensryche?
Iron Maiden?
I said Queensryche at the same time.
I met Mike Patton. It seems so nice. He's got some issues.
We're like simpatico.
Universally starts an Andy Dick Bible. Yeah, right. Yeah, as long as he doesn't stay over here. Shit. I was on Howard Stern's show once, which was weird for Howard. Poor guy. I came on and he was, it was to promote Queer as Folk. And he knew me because we'd used some clips, I think, on Talk Soup, but he knew who I was. And they set this whole thing up. And I think he was under the impression, because Robin watched Queer as Folk regularly, he was under the impression that the reason I took, no worries, 50 plus, absolutely, I'm never. He was under the impression that I was gay and in the closet and hiding it, because only somebody who was really gay would do Queer as Folk, which is a weird preconceived notion, but a lot of people have. And I think he really only, glances and talks to it, but then, I'd watched a couple episodes because of Robin or something like that. I was under the impression that Michael was me and I was Michael, and that my voice and the way I carry myself and how I interact and whatever would be the same. And that his plan, it seemed, thanks 50 plus. Always nice when I'm in the Albuquerque airport. It's a thing I have. But when I walked in, I could see him kind of deflate about it, because they had planned, apparently, all these jokes trying to get me to come out of the closet. And that was going to be the thing. That was going to be what the whole point of me being on was, is that they were going to out me. And you could see that they assessed after about 4 sentences that I guess their gaydar needle just dropped, and they were like, no, that's not going to work. It's radio anyways, blah, blah, blah. So the other tack they took was, isn't it gross kissing a guy? That's usually where the rest of it is. What happened when I was on the Tonight Show, same shit. And so, so there, and I had my kind of, stacked answers for that kind of shit. But I have a thing about when I'm on shows where I'm promoing things, especially when it's stand up, but even even shows that as long as I get in the date and the time of what I'm talking about, the rest of it should have nothing to do with it. It should be. I always try this. I always try to, and you'll see it sometimes if you end up watching my interviews. That I'll crowbar the interview in another direction, so we're talking about anything but whatever they were planning on talking about, because it will always be the same shit. It will always be the first 3 things on your fucking Wikipedia and something that the biggest fan in the office wanted brought up. That's it. And they'll get to that one no matter what, because that person will usually be brought in to say hi. So I always, I try to just, yank the wheel. And it's, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be raining a lot. I was sure you were gay on QAF because you're an excellent. Well, thank you. Thanks very much. Did I break Jack's heart on QAF? Jack Weatherall? The guy who played my Uncle Vic? What do you mean? Which Jack? I broke a lot of hearts on Queer as Folk, I have to say. In real life, you're welcome. Chris Titus is lovely. I like Chris Titus. He and I are both super Prince fans. We totally bonded on that. Yeah. Anybody who's a big Prince fan, okay by me. A legit one. So there. I'm an actor. I have prospects. Right. Oh yeah, that Jack. How you ever in a local Chicago band? I jumped on stage with a bunch of them. Depends on how far we're going back. My band has played in Chicago a couple times. Yes, out of 12? Out of 12. I like that. It's nice. Absolutely. I do a great MTG. I don't know. That's criticism by faint praise, or I don't know if that's a good thing. I have Prince here from 86 to 98. That's nice. I have met Bill Maher. He hates me because he got mad that I was talking to his date in Chinese because she was Chinese. This is a long story. He's still pissed. It's one of the reasons why he won't let me on the show anymore. Yes, 01 is still a band, although different members, different lineup. My show's like the long version of the Armageddon Report. It totally is. I should probably sign off in 2 minutes. I'll do it at 12:30 because that's enough time. We made up for it. Does he hate everyone? No, he does not. He's self-involved. It takes a lot to get him to actually dislike someone, and I'm proud to be in that column. Bill Murray seems genuine. He's got a wall, as anybody in that situation would, and he brings it come and go, and lets it come and go as based on how safe he feels, I'd imagine. Yeah, I know, it's late. Bill Maher's such a creep, doesn't seem to understand 20-year-olds don't want to hang out with him. The problem, Panios, is that some of them do. Sorry. You ever, whenever you encounter someone, and I'll end on this, I think this is great. I gotta get going. Finish on this note. Just leave you with this thought. Anytime you encounter someone, and you're like, why the fuck would that guy or that girl think I would talk to her? Or why would that person think that I should do this for them? Or why do they think they can treat me like that and I would do this? Right? Why would they think that? Well, you wouldn't. But other people have. Lots of them. And more than likely, the vast majority of the people that they've run into treat them like that, or take their bullshit, or want to hang out, or whatever. I'm not kidding. Just know that. There's a lot of people out there, 8 billion people in the world. If you start, I guess if you over your dick around in enough bowling alleys, you'll get the response you want from somebody. And that's the shotgun approach that a lot of shitty people use. So don't be surprised if somebody comes up to you and acting like they own the world and they think they're better than you and blah blah blah, or they think why would this person hit, this older dude or this woman, who likes coopering, whatever, hit on people our age? Because it's worked a lot. It does. It works more often than not. So much so that it's become a habit with them. Because there's a payoff. 1,000 no's and 1 yes is still a yes. That's exactly right. They don't care. And by the way, there are some people who don't see the no's. They happen, but shrug it off. Next one. I'm looking for a yes. I'm a yes farmer. You know what I mean? Nobody who's like picking strawberries is counting the number of leaves in between the strawberries they find. You understand? And in that moment, you're like a leaf going, why does this motherfucker think he can just fidget around and tug something off the branch and take it with him? And you're like, you ain't it. That's not what he's taking. He's just looking for that strawberry that he can fuck off with. And it happens. I'm telling you. Yes, Hal, the king of analogies. Right, shots on a goal. Same thing. You don't see the leaves for the strawberries. You're just fucking picking strawberries. And there are people where the fact that they are fame seekers and the fact that they do that are absolutely in line. It is an aspect of their psychology that has made them successful in a couple of different areas. A man's only as good as their opportunities. Yeah, it's like that. Man is only faithful as their options. I think 1962, Libby in the chat. And by the way, I would like to say for the record, you do the same thing in traffic. You're looking for the gap in traffic, and occasionally a car might be against the gap you're trying to go for, and you notice that car, but you're not going to memorize the fucking color of all the cars you're passing.